Hello, ho, ho there! Welcome to Star Wars Warts and All, a podcast where four people talk about why we love Star Wars warts and all. My name is Will. Joining me again, my good friends Ben.
Hello.
Bill.
Hi.
And Chris.
I hate fish.
I hate fish?
Don't beat yourself up. It's very obscure.
Is it from the holiday special or something?
It is. I just watched
From the hot.
most of it today. Trying to get a good idea.
Boba say
something.
that in the
No,
his
it's
little
some
cartoon?
weird Imperial officer guy at the shop. With, I don't know. I couldn't think of anything better.
Okay. Yep. I remember now. With the little, he holds up a tiny little fish tank with a just video of
aquarium
fish
or something
playing on it,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. All right. Good one.
So I assume I'm the only one who hasn't seen the holiday special at this point ever.
You
Well,
should.
I didn't finish
Well,
it.
it's
I'm about 20 minutes away from the end.
I guess they're totally against putting it on Disney Plus at this point.
for good reason. But I mean, we'll get into that. We're not talking about the holiday special today, but we will be discussing the holiday of Life Day.
That's it, I'm turning back. I know your family's waiting. I know it's an important day. All right, we'll give it a try. I'll set your coordinates. I won't jump far. I'll get you back there in time, pal. Trust me. Our only hope now is to outrun that Imperial garbage scow, though. I'm going to Lightspeed. That's the spirit. You'll be celebrating Life Day before you know it. Stand by. Here's where we say goodbye to our unpleasant friends.
All right, so we do kind of have to start off by discussing the holiday special. We're not going to go through it blow by blow for two reasons. Number one is, as I've said time and time again, the holiday special is unwatchable. So it's certainly not worth recapping. And second of all, I'm sick of just recapping things every week. We've been doing that far too much. I'm tired of just talking about a story. And I'd rather just talk about something in a more general sense. So we're just going to talk about Life Day, the Wookiee holiday that the holiday special from 1978 kind of centers around. Because it's been coming up again. So as Bill said, Disney is not going to re-release a HD version of the Star Wars holiday special. I think George Lucas famously wished that every copy of it was destroyed.
Was he even really involved with it?
Yes.
He was?
I think a lot of the bad ideas may have come from him, which isn't too surprising. You consider he swings, he always goes for it, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it because I watched most of it today in preparation for this episode, and I'm trying to put myself back in the shoes of Star Wars fans in 1978.
No. Yeah, I've
No?
done the same thing, and I have to figure.
Really?
I don't care if it's 1978. It's still bad entertainment. It's still not
Well,
good, even if it was
just gives you like
1978.
another little window into the universe. And say, it's the I don't even can't think of a reference, but
I mean, I already said I haven't seen it. I'm picturing it as something that would be playing in the MST, the Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode. Just like,
but it's almost so boring that you can't even riff on it very well. Like it doesn't quite even have that appeal.
Does it have like really hokey production quality too, or?
it looks like
Just-
a soap
Yes.
opera, almost a live production.
Yeah. It's like a variety
Okay.
hour.
All right, we're getting
Variety 2
Right.
hours or something.
we're getting too
But
much
anyway,
into the holiday special.
Yeah, maybe we'll have like a watch party at some point off air. But for
Put it
now,
on the YouTube channel and watch our faces as we react to it.
yeah, right. All right, so in the holiday special, the basic premise, and again, I'm not going to recap the whole thing, but Han Solo and Chewbacca are out, stuck in stock footage of the Millennium Falcon, flying away from Star Destroyers. And they're trying to get back to the Wookiee homeworld, which I want to say is not called Kashyyyk yet. I think it might be called Kazoo or Kazook or something like that.
Huh. I didn't notice.
But they're trying to get home because Chewie wants to celebrate the holiday of Life Day with his family. So the question is, what is Life Day all about? Because it's kind of been embraced now as like Star Wars Christmas, which is pretty close to the mark.
Yeah.
Do they decorate Galaxy's Edge?
I don't know that they don't decorate it, but I think we'll talk about that actually, how it's kind of made a resurgence there.
Yeah.
So the basic premise of Life Day is that it's just a celebration of life. That's the idea. There's a tree of life that the Wookiees hold sacred, and the tree of life has given the gift of life to the entire galaxy. So they celebrate it through family members who have passed, and also the future, through the hope of the youth or the children of the galaxy. So I mean, it really is very much about kids and togetherness,
Family.
which in itself just it's the holidays.
It's
it just feels
not
like
too
the
far off
holidays.
from anything we've experienced here on Earth, really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much grounded in reality in that regard.
Well, they got to get into the holiday marketing and merchandising, so I could see why
Sure.
maybe they're embracing some of this now.
Yeah, because even back in the holiday special, they celebrated Life Day by baking treats and
right.
giving gifts. It was very much Christmassy, even though the gifts were a little bizarre. Like that,
the VR helmet.
Grandpa Wookiee gets a VR helmet that's basically an exotic dancer. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
Unique.
you're laughing, but it's actually, it just comes off as very, very disturbing. It's
yes,
not even-
100%.
So it didn't age well, is what you're saying.
No,
but
it did. I don't think it aged well in 1978.
Yeah.
Well, they preempted the Incredible Hulk for it, so it must have been good.
That's right. Yeah.
Jeez.
And the other big tradition is the Life Day Orbs. These like shining, kind of glowing with an inner light, glass orbs that were supposed to represent the stars that were born from the tree of life, or something like that. It was probably just whatever they had on set that they could use to represent Christmas lights, basically. But it does. So they decorate their house with these glowing orbs, and they're giving gifts. I mean, it is Star Wars Christmas. That's really what it boils down
And then
to.
did they have coral robes to just put on the Wookiees too? Is that what?
Yeah, apparently.
big
The only time
snuggies.
you'll ever see a Wookiee wearing clothes is when they wear a oversized for a Wookiee, which is impressive, red robe. And those have stuck too. Like even in the new Life Day stuff
Yeah.
Looks just
in the current canon, they've still got the orbs and they've still got the red robes.
I saw that they had a plush Chewbacca wearing a red robe at Shop Disney for Life Day this year.
Yeah, they had a bunch of new merch for Life
Yeah.
Day.
Why not?
So it really is like, I feel like Disney is trying to run with it. Like while they're not fully embracing the holiday special, they are willing to embrace Life Day and a lot of the other stuff that comes from the holiday special along with it.
Yeah, like I'm assuming Carrie Fisher's song.
Yeah, we need a remaster of that one. Yeah. But so there's one thing I want to just bring up now, because I'm going to keep bringing it up. But it's an issue with, embracing some of the moments or some of the components of the holiday special. One of the big ones is Chewbacca has a family. He has a wife, a father, and a son back at home. And this is canon now. They
What?
have
It is?
they have they have
Yeah.
created
Yeah.
canon stories with his wife Mala, which is like, what is it, Maladabak or something like that is her full name.
I don't know.
I don't have it
Sure.
in front of me. And his son Lumpawaru.
Yeah.
Which, anyway, my point is, Chewbacca has a son back at home on Kashyyyk. he's a bad father. I don't know how else to say it, and I'm hoping you guys can like talk me out of this.
Maybe it's Wookiee culture that they just leave. I don't know.
We don't know enough. Plus, he's out there saving the galaxy. He's doing the greater good by helping the rebellion.
At a certain point, he is. But when he first meets Han Solo and is out there just doing adventures and smuggling stuff, he's not exactly saving the galaxy then.
Well, when does he have the kid? We don't know
Is
that.
he?
No, but he does save the Wookiees from Kessel. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and he does. Any chance Chewbacca has to help his people, he will. But the fact of the matter is, he's got a son at home. He needs to be there for the boy.
So is this coming from new stuff or the holiday special?
Well, from new stuff as well. They mention how he's always missing home. He wants to go back home for Life Day, and in the just released last month, the Star Wars Life Day Treasury collection of short stories, there is basically like a retelling. Well, not a retelling. It almost feels like a sequel to the holiday special, honestly, because it catches up with Chewbacca's family waiting for him to come home on Life Day yet again, because I'm sure he pulls this all the time, deadbeat father that he is.
Well, maybe he's Hawkeye. Maybe he's like Hawkeye. He just...
Oh, that's true. Very timely.
Yeah.
Good reference. So yeah, all right. I want to talk a little bit about this new story though. So this seems to take place after Return of the Jedi. So the Empire has fallen, but Chewbacca is still not home for Life Day. His son, Lumpawaru, who in the holiday special they called Lumpy, which that's another thing I gotta mention. So his name was Lumpy, but now he's going by Waru because he's a teenager now.
Well, that happens all the time. Yeah. Bill used to be called Billy back in the day,
That's
but now
true.
it's just Bill.
Yeah, we don't talk
people
about
change their nicknames all the time.
But he's a typical teenager. Mom wants him to take place in the festivities, but he's just sitting on his data pad and won't even look up for what he's doing.
Started wearing all black and painting his fingernails. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he misses his father. And this is something, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, man, they're having like a back and forth conversation. Mala's talking to Itchy, which is Chewbacca's father. Didn't even mention that yet. His name's Itchy.
Of course it is.
She's talking to him about how, you got to just give him a chance. He'll come around. He just misses his father. But then I'm thinking, like, all this dialogue in reality and in the holiday special is just Wookiee grunts the whole
the first
time.
7 minutes of the
Yep.
thing is just Wookiee language
So
back and forth.
you have no idea. Like, it works in a book because they can translate it, quote unquote. But in actuality, all you're hearing is.
I mean, it's what I imagine dogs are saying to each other. It's just
Yeah.
something
Right.
when they're barking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have we come to the understanding that all male Wookiees have some sort of descriptive nickname, like Chewy, Lumpy, Itchy?
That's- I mean,
Your nickname must be, an adjective of some sort, I guess.
Yeah. Plumpy.
Although,
Harry.
Mala is just Mala. His wife is just Mala, which
Well,
is
it's
not.
right. The female Wookiees don't get the adjective nickname.
That's true. Only the men. Yes.
well, what about the
Only
other
men have
Wookiee?
that.
Oh, I don't want to get into this too much. I was gonna say, what about the other Wookiee in the Clone Wars?
You're no George Lucas, Bill. We can't
Yeah.
speak for the naming conventions here.
So they're trying to like get Waru into the spirit of Life Day, but he's just not having it. He misses his father. He feels like he's outgrowing it maybe, and he almost is kind of concerned because he wants to feel the spirit of Life Day, but he just can't get there. It's even to the point where Mala takes out the family orbs, the family Life Day orbs, and gently taking them out, and calls Waru over to handle the family jewels, and he won't do it.
How do these work? Do you get to do you gaze in them and then you see the memories, or do they just You just
No,
know
this
that, this one represents the time when...
Your father went out to get death sticks and never came back.
Just going for some bantha milk.
It's the Force. It's the Force or something.
Right.
There's
some kind of inner light. There is some kind of mechanism that makes them work, but they almost play off as like the core memories in Inside Out or whatever. Like they represent like an important event or something, and so they go to the Tree of Life for the big like celebration on Life Day, and Waru he can't even handle it. He runs away from the festivities, and he finds himself standing underneath the family orb, and he finally gets the courage to hold it, hoping that something will awaken in him, and then he's startled and he drops the thing. He smashes his family's Life Day orb, but that's when Chewie shows up with his. Oh, this is another great thing. So they mention, and this is just in passing, so I'm probably nitpicking, but they refer to Han as Chewie's oldest friend. And at first I'm just like, well, yeah, of course, Han Solo and Chewbacca are the best of friends. But then when you consider the fact that Chewbacca is 190 years old when he meets Han Solo.
Oh, poor Chewie.
He
has no friends.
Well, if he treats them as well as he treats his son.
Well, again, we don't know that much about Wookiee culture. Maybe they're isolationists. Maybe they haven't really been out from Kashyyyk that much. I'm just making stuff up now.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to somehow excuse Chewbacca's behavior. It is problematic though for me to think, like when you see all these comic books and these like side stories of his adventures with Han, just thinking like, well, when is he going back home? When's he gonna?
He is pretty much my favorite character, so this is kind of like ruining it for me a little bit.
Oh no. Well, he is always sad on Life Day that he can't be back home. So there is that. He does want to be there at least.
Yeah, he wants to use Itchy's VR machines.
But then, just to wrap things up, so it's kind of cool because even though the orb breaks, he's able to recover with his father's help. He recovers the light from the inside, and then they go to the Millennium Falcon where they just grab essentially like a light bulb from the Falcon and use that as like the new family orb. So it's kind of like bringing Han and the Falcon into the family, which I kind of appreciate. It was a nice way.
It was probably a broken light bulb anyway. Let's be honest. That thing.
It was.
Thing's not.
It was all
taking
scratched up.
care.
Right. It's got grease stains on it.
So the Tree of Life, is that like a giant tree in the middle of Kashyyyk or something? Is that?
So it sounds like almost like Rockefeller Center. They choose a different tree every year to be the Tree of Life for this year's celebration.
Okay,
That's cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's like the honorary Tree of Life.
So do they cut
for
it
that
down,
year.
or is it just that tree over there is the
Right,
tree?
this one. Everybody's got to walk. Sorry, we chose a tree halfway across the planet. We all got to walk.
Well, yeah, if you're like the family that tends to that tree all year, maybe you're kind of like the family of honor for that year or something.
That
A
could
little
be.
bit of notoriety.
They probably don't walk, though, because the holiday special, there's that one scene where they're all just, like, walking through space to get
Just
from one area to
teleported.
another
It
one.
doesn't make
So
any
that's
sense.
probably what they do.
Yeah, that must be it. I mean, there's honestly not a ton of detail on like Life Day festivities. What it really boils down to, though, is just that it's all about togetherness and hope for the future, and all that happy stuff that the holidays are about. So it does the job. And there was one other story in this book that I read because it's called The Spirit of Life Day, and I thought, oh, this will be perfect. This will give me more background. But it turns out it's called The Spirit of Life Day because it's about ghosts.
Oh,
It's just,
But
and it kind of lost me because are there ghosts in Star Wars other than Force ghosts?
Why not?
there's Night Sister ghosts.
Yeah, but they use the Force.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are probably something to do with the Force too. Yeah.
I guess so. Force
Everything
echoes
has to
or
do with the Force,
something.
too.
Wait, so is this like Christmas Carol type ghosts? Like ghosts?
It's like a
of-
town haunted by the ghosts of the Clone Wars when the town was like ransacked by droids.
Oh.
And on Life Day, this is when it happened on Life Day. So every Life Day now, rather than celebrate, they have to hide from the ghosts that like walk through the village moaning and shaking the doors.
Saying Roger, 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 Roger. Oh,
Not droid ghost.
it's not the droid. Oh, okay.
That
Soulless.
I would agree that would be problematic, but yes.
That would be, for many reasons. Yeah. Yeah, the Jedi suddenly realize they've been chopping up things with souls for all this time. Whoops.
My bad.
But in the end, it turns out that they're just knocking on the doors because they want to remind the people to celebrate on Life Day. Don't hide in your shelters.
Oh,
It's a nice message, but it did really like the way it played. I was like, okay, this is cheesy. But anyway, so the one other thing that I kind of used as a resource here for Life Day was a comic that just came out a couple weeks ago.
I want to say last
Well,
week.
wasn't so?
by the time of
Oh, it was
recording.
last week. I think you're right.
Hold on. In the Treasury, wasn't there another story during the High Republic too? I thought I read an article about
Oh yeah, there was with
Stellan Geos.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I should read that.
There is. It's a nice little. It's not about Life Day. It's about the Coruscant Solstice, which is another winter-esque holiday.
Oh, okay.
Because the idea about Life Day is it was only celebrated by Wookiees until around the time of the Empire. Wookiees kind of got spread as slaves, basically, throughout the galaxy, and their tradition kind of spread. And it was one of like hope and
It's actually kind of interesting.
hope for the future. So yeah, it really is.
interesting because
Yeah.
that's kind of how these things spread in real life too.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
And people embrace it with the New Republic, and so that's why the Old Republic story doesn't really tie in with Life Day per se. But yeah, but in this new comic is just called Life Day. It's a one shot with like 3 or 4 short stories in it.
Yes. I did
Yeah.
read this one. So.
You did, okay. So the basic story here centers again around Han and Chewie on their little adventures. This time they're on Batuu, though. They're in Black Spire Outpost on Life Day. What is Chewie doing? He's not home with his son. No. He's at Oga's Cantina. That's where he runs straight there. They land. He makes a beeline for the bar. That's Chewbacca. That's your hero, Bill.
Oh,
This makes no sense.
this kid's grown
He's
up
an
at this point. Who
alcoholic.
cares? He doesn't even want to be involved.
You know what? If all beings age like Baby Yoda or Grogu ages, his little son, back when he was lumpy, he could have been like 50 years old. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, he could just be a tiny 50-year-old at that point.
Yeah.
So he could just be well adjusted.
I feel like this makes Chewie seem a lot more like Han because, I mean, we've already discussed how bad of a father Han was because he just
Right.
Like
Well,
that's just-
yeah, you know what? There's a bigger question here, and maybe this is too much for us to even comprehend, but are there any good fathers in Star Wars?
That's a good point.
Galen Erso, he's a good father. Or at least he tries.
Okay.
Ultimately,
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of fathers who make some pretty serious mistakes, but I guess that's the whole point, right? Family isn't perfect. Family's they'll be there for you in the end. They might make some missteps along the way, but yeah, there are a lot of pretty messed up deeds of the fathers of Star Wars
Yeah.
in general, like across the board. So anyway, right, Life Day comic. That's what we were talking about. There is another High Republic story in here with Buryaga, the Wookiee Padawan of Jedi Master Nibasik. And they're on Kashyyyk. There's a whole Drengir thing. It's pretty neat. And they also meet Itchy, Chewie's father, at Tichituk.
Oh, that okay. I didn't realize that was him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now. All right. Yeah, I didn't even put that
You
together.
know, they land, and she's like, we need to meet with Atichichuk.
Atichichuk. Yeah. Atichichuk.
So how old is he then?
Well, this
Very
is only 100 or so years before Phantom Menace. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought it was like...
That was-
I thought it was like 300 years before. How do we not know this yet? How long ago?
We're bad.
was the
We're
High
bad Star
Republic?
Wars fans. I mean, I think our listeners probably have figured that out by now.
It's either 1 or 200 years. I thought it was 1,
it's-
but I could be wrong.
I think it's 2.
I also thought it was 1.
All right. You know what?
I just read something today that the High Republic era ends 50 years before. So that's when like the Acolyte show is going to take place. But the main stuff that we've been reading in the books and stuff is probably a little before that.
High Republic era was a period of time that lasted for around 200 years between approximately 300 BBY and 82 BBY.
Okay.
So like the books and the phase 1 of the High Republic stuff is probably closer to, what did you say, 300?
Yeah, 300 to 82.
Okay, I found it. The Great Hyperspace Disaster that starts all of the High Republic material is in 232 BBY, so 232 years before A New Hope.
Okay.
But that was,
So-
but High Republic era was happening already by that time. Though.
Yeah, it had begun before that.
Right, the era. Yes.
Right.
Yes. So this comic book would take place somewhere in the range of 232
Okay.
or
Yeah,
like
okay.
230ish
Fine.
BBY. And if Chewie was 190, he wouldn't be born yet. That's where I was going, because I thought maybe we'd see a little baby Chewbacca somewhere, but it didn't happen.
Well, yeah,
My
who knows
biggest
the
disappointment.
gestational period of Wookiees, so maybe his mother's
Can you
pregnant. at
imagine?
the
I mean,
time.
Baby Yoda. Maybe imagine Baby Chewbacca. I mean, that's
Star Wars babies.
Well, we can figure this out though, because in Solo, how old was he in Solo?
that's where he was 190.
190, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, how many years between Revenge of the Sith and Solo?
10.
Not many?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not many. So he's got a few more years, I think. Maybe like give him 50 years from where we're at in the High Republic, and that's where we'll see
Yeah.
Chewbacca.
That sounds
I
about
think.
right.
Something like that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see his conception in one of these future comics. Who knows?
No, let's not.
We don't really need to see that.
Who knows how that works? Oh boy. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, so the next
Atichakuk.
yeah, so they have a whole thing with him and the Drengir. It's neat. It's just one of those nice little tie-ins that makes it like where it's like, oh good, I'm glad I read all the High Republic everything so far because I understand this one little story slightly
Right.
better. And then there's another story about Trandoshans who are making they're like weaponizing the stomach acids of a sarlacc, which I thought was pretty cool.
But the Wookiees would use it as like a medicine instead or something. There's something about it that the Wookiees were
That
using,
was-
then the
yeah.
Trandoshans took it over. Yeah.
Yeah, the Wookiees were enslaved by them. Yeah. And then there's one more little story with during the Rebellion era. All in all, it's a nice little tale. But Chris, did you notice at the end of this comic book,
Yeah.
there's like are they teasing the Drengir
That's what I thought.
on Batuu?
Like the little wreath they have hanging in Oga's cantina, kind of like
It's hissing.
bursts a little mouth open. Yeah. Looking like a little Drengir thing in present day. Or, present day.
I thought they might be so. Yeah, we might have a Return of the Drengir happening at some point. They could even like squeeze
Return
it
of the
in.
Jedi and Force Awakens, yeah. I'm sure it'll be a comic only
that's-
thing, but yeah, they're definitely
Yeah,
a little tease in there.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the Drengir are known for lying dormant for ages before they reawaken
Right.
because they just look like plants.
Yeah, but they teased it at the end of the story on Kashyyyk with Buryaga and Nib. Like you see a little piece of the tree vibrating in the last frame of the thing to show that it's maybe not
Right.
completely over. Yeah. So yeah,
They
they're
didn't
just
get 'em
always
all.
there. It's just something
Yeah.
that's always gonna potentially pop up as a threat.
They gotta be careful not to overdo the Drengir, though.
Well, I
It's
think
true
they just-
because most
they're
people
just
won't even know
sit-
what they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it could be. Yeah, and again, if it's in just comics and maybe novels, it doesn't really matter. They'll just explain like, oh, it's an ancient threat from the High Republic, and that's all they really need to say.
Yeah.
It's probably enough. Anyway, so the point is, I think it's interesting that this year, 2021, we saw a brand new hardback book of short stories that center around Life Day, and we got a brand new one-shot comic called Life Day. I feel like Disney is really making a push to make Life Day a thing, and I'm all about it. If we
It makes sense.
if we
feel
can
like
have a
they would.
Star Wars holiday
I mean,
around
people are
Christmas,
gonna
It's
bring it up no matter what because of the holiday special. They might as well monetize it and make something out of it rather than just have it something to be bashed
Yeah,
and
exactly.
made fun of.
Yeah, it's all about the. I mean, there's merchandising
Right.
potential here. Plus, I feel like the Lego holiday special they were trying to.
yeah, that was Life Day.
Yeah, that was last year, and they were trying to make that kind of the replacement for the holiday special, I feel like.
Almost, yeah. They should just do another one, really. Like
I don't know that they would touch that with a 10-foot pole, to be honest.
it would be like pulling modern day celebrities and just doing like a silly thing. That would be so fun.
I see it happen. I feel like I don't like to speculate on this stuff, obviously, but I feel like they're feeling out things, and then they're gonna produce something next year or the year after. Because
Maybe.
we see it. It's an official thing in Galaxy's Edge now.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
having
Yeah.
special food items and drinks and stuff, and it's an actual thing. People gather there for Life Day from like November to January.
Tip you.
At least in Disneyland. I don't think they're doing it in Florida, but in California,
I
they're
noticed
definitely
that,
making a big deal of it.
Right, it's only in the West Coast Galaxy's Edge.
I mean, it's not surprising. There's always monetization to be had from like seasonal, especially around the holidays this time of year. So
yeah.
they holiday up the rest of the park, so why not figure out how to work the Star Wars into it too?
That's true. It's ultimately just a reason to get all of those decorations to bleed into into Galaxy's Edge.
So what are some of the other references? Do we want to talk about some of the other like one-off references that we?
I mean, they're all throughout everything. They mentioned it a couple times in several different comics. I believe they mentioned it a couple times in The Mandalorian. It's
So at least once, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, famously, it was in the first episode, the premiere episode of The Mandalorian season 1.
Yeah.
He just kind of named the Mithril, right? I always say that wrong.
Mithril.
Mithril, not Mithril, right?
Mithril is
I think so.
armor from Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mithril, the blue guy, the blue Horatio Sands guy. He mentions Life Day in the first episode, and that was like that was like, oh wow, they're really just they're bringing that up. They're not ashamed, and now here we are. It's a book. It's a comic book. It's a celebration.
Celebrate the love.
Boring conversation anyway.
All right, for the outro, in honor of the holiday special, I think at least one of us should do it entirely in Wookiee growls. Itchy, chewy, lumpy. They're not even pleasant sounding words.
No.
They sound like symptoms of some kind of disease you don't want to get.
STD, yeah.
Or the rejected dwarves. Snow White's the rejected dwarves.
All right.
All right, so yeah, that's it for this week. Next week, what are we thinking?
Another epic duels.
Right, let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Come
All
on.
right.
Round 3.
Fight.
Sounds like a blast.
Maybe we could. I wonder if we could. We'll think of some holiday battlegrounds or something. One of them, we could have them fight it out at the Tree of Life.
There you go.
Whatever that
Weapons.
means.
We're gonna have
Life
to
Day
add in
Orbs.
characters from Chewie's family.
There you go. Yeah. Other than that, we still have email, Gmail, warts and all. Right.
WORRTS. And thanks for listening.
Nice. Yeah, that was Happy Life Day, right, Bill?
See?
He's got this down.
I
He's
speak
got his
a
Shri book.
little.
Yeah, I put that into a translator. That's what it came out.
That was the Wookiee known as Smelly.
There we are. There it is. A pocket-sized aquarium. Wonderful, isn't it? And you could take it with you anywhere. And the tank is a snap to clean.
I hate fish.
Well, so do I, as a matter of fact. I take a drink once in a while, but... I just thought I'd show you some of the stupid stuff those Wookiees purchased from me.